George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people we feel good about. So, Michael J. Fox, Muhammad Ali are just some of the major names of individuals that you know that have been diagnosed with that. Well, the Muhammad Ali and who had Parkinson's disease, and Michael J. Fox still living with it. And so, what exactly is Parkinson's disease, and how can it be treated? But more importantly, how can you live with it? Well, I've learned something fascinating this past week about how some people are learning to live with Parkinson's disease. Pat VanBeveren is the executive director of Empower Parkinson's, Rock Steady Boxing. And Pat, so glad that you could join us. And first of all, let's just remind people of what Parkinson's disease is.
Sure. I think at the very basic, it is a lack of dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter. People think that it's a motor control problem because of this loss of transmission, but really the whole neurological system is affected, and therefore everything in the body is affected, from your cognitive function of thinking and planning right through digestion. And of course, the motor problems are very evident in people with Parkinson's: tremor, rigidity of motion, a predisposition to falling down. Those are the things, the outward things that people see, but it really is, it's a progressive neurodegenerative disease. So it doesn't get better. There's no known cure. The standard bearer of treatment is really to replace the dopamine by using synthetic drugs. Carbidopa, levodopa has been the basis of treatment for probably the last 50 years. The way it's administered has been changed, but that really is how Parkinson's disease is treated.
And it's not and the person who's experiencing it, these are not things that they have any control over.
Correct. Correct. It's a substance in the brain that is no longer, the cells that produce dopamine either stop producing them or those cells have actually died. And there's some controversy in the literature about which it is. But some of what we do, the therapeutic intervention, the exercise intervention, seems to help produce more dopamine and therefore better movement patterns, better function throughout the whole body, whether it be the digestive tract or, like I said, cognitive function. Any of those things function better when there is more dopamine in the system.
And so one of the things that we've learned is that boxing, of all things, right, is one of the things that helps those who have Parkinson's disease. Talk about that. And this is backed up by literature and science.
Right. There's a preponderance of evidence really about forced intensity exercise being very helpful.
Yeah.
That's right. And if you think about boxing, that's forced intensity. The other guy in the ring is trying to take your head off. It behooves you to be in the best shape of your life.
Right.
Strong, powerful, move well, flexible. So we take everything that boxing training offers, and we in turn offer it to people with Parkinson's. So everything that the disease is trying to steal away from them, the coordination, the balance, the strength, the power, boxing demands that they use that. Now, everybody asks us, that's not very smart to have these people hitting each other.
And you're
And
not doing that.
we are not doing that. We're hitting bags, and we hit all the traditional bags: the heavy bag, the double bag, speed bag, weight bag, all those traditional bags, the focus mitts we use, but they do not hit each other.
And so and this is where Rock Steady Boxing comes in. So you have a gym in Syracuse. What has it been, 5 years or so?
We've had it for 5 years. We've actually been 3 locations. Presently, we've been out on Old Liverpool Road. We're in the back of Pacific Health Club. We have our own entrance and area back there. And we've been there for 3 years. And we've steadily grown. 5 years ago, we actually started at St. Camillus in their outpatient department with 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to a small gym on Tip Hill across from Coleman's. We grew it to about 30 people. Now we're at about 125 boxers, but we have a community of over 900 people. These are caregivers, friends, professionals, all part of people dealing with Parkinson's in our community.
And so the people who go for who are participating in Rocksteady, as you mentioned, they're not just those who are in who are dealing with Parkinson's. They're everybody. And so, how does that help the person who has Parkinson's by having the caregivers and other members of the community in community with them?
Well, in part, it helps them very much because of the socialization, that
Mm-hmm.
interaction. So whether it's another boxer there that they're commiserating with, or joking around with, or people lending support to them, we have a cadre of about 25 volunteers who regularly attend the programs to help out with the boxing and give encouragement to people. That the socialization, the encouragement, dopamine is like a feel-good drug.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you feel good, you get more dopamine. So that socialization, we laugh a lot. One of the things we try to do is laugh a lot, because laughing releases dopamine. And I say to people who come in, and it's a depressing disease. It's a hopeless disease. There's no cure. You're only going to get worse. So for them to be able to come in and have some hope, that things are going to be better, to be able to, carry on with other people, and that's, to me, it's just a huge deal for people.
So you're opening up a new location, a second location. Uh, Tell me about what you
Well,
looking to do there.
this kind of amounts, George, to, if you can't get Mohammed to go to the mountain, you take the mountain to Mohammed. And we've had a great deal of difficulty attracting people from the Syracuse area to come out to Liverpool for
Mm.
whatever reason. Whether they just want to have care given in their own neighborhoods, or it's a transportation issue. We really have done abysmally poorly at attracting, inner city people who may have Parkinson's disease. So we're very fortunate to identify a gym. It's on 1029 Montgomery Street, just down the street from Burt Ave, and below the VA. So it should be close enough for people in the city to come. So we really only located that within the last 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, we've been going to the community at every place we can possibly think.
Tell the
Syracuse
story,
Housing,
right?
Dunbar Center, the Office for Aging, trying to get the word out. And of course, this is very big for us, for you to have us on to also try to get the word out. We are there. People need to just call me, and I'll take it from there in terms of when we're going to have the program. And I want to get 5 people on board to be able to start the program. But once we get those initial 5 people, we're moving ahead.
And the 5 people should be people who have Parkinson's,
People with Parkinson's.
people with
Yeah.
Parkinson's. And we know studies show that more men than women are likely to get it. There may be some genetic component, but mostly, we don't know. But we do know the symptoms when we see it, and it is progressive. And so we want to get more folks who are watching or listening to this program. If you know somebody who has Parkinson's, I don't know, I want to say inflicted, but that sounds harsh. But I mean, who has Parkinson's? Tell me the language.
You kind of bring up a good point, because we don't really know what causes it. There's clearly some kind of a genetic component, and
Right.
people usually relate Muhammad Ali to having it from
Right.
getting head trauma. There's not a lot of good evidence for that, actually. The
Right.
best evidence out there appears to be environmental toxins.
Yeah.
And however they enter, either we breathe them in or we eat them in our food. It does appear, but it appears that people may need to have a genetic predisposition for those environmental toxins to have an effect. And 2 of them have been clearly identified. One is paraquat, which is a herbicide, and the other one is chloroethylene, which is a cleaning agent, which is very pervasive in our society. And Michael J. Fox has been instrumental in trying to get legislation passed to outlaw those chemicals.
And for him to be, he could hide, he's a right, and he's certainly out front. We see him in, in real time dealing with the effects of Parkinson's.
For 30 years, George. He was young onset, it's very unusual. Probably less than 10% of all people with Parkinson's. He's 29 years old when he got Parkinson's. And, he has fought back and he's led the battle. The amount of money that he has poured or brought into research is just unbelievable.
And what's your relationship to this cause?
Well, we don't have a direct relationship because Michael J. Fox is really looking for a cure, and we're looking to treat people who have the problem right now. We really aligned ourselves with a different foundation. It's called the Davis Phinney Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Davis Phinney was an Olympic biker, and he got Parkinson's. He's also young age, 40 years old. But his foundation really aims at interventions for people who have that disease. And we are one of 10 communities in the nation that are working on an initiative sponsored by Davis Phinney called Healthy Parkinson Communities. And we brought together a coalition of probably about 15 people, all of them stakeholders. And we're exploring what we have in the city and what we need, where the deficits are, and what strategies we can employ to meet those deficits.
And your personal connection to Parkinson's is what?
Oh, mine. I do not have one, except now my 125 boxers are my closest friends.
Meaning this was just a cause you felt passionate about, and you decided to put some work into it.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny and a long story, George, but it was on 60 Minutes. Leslie Stahl's husband has Parkinson's, and he ended up at Rocksteady Boxing, and Leslie said, we can't let this be a secret. They did a project on it, or a presentation. I saw it on a Sunday night, went into work the next morning, and I told my staff member who works with people with Parkinson's, you got to go to Indianapolis and train in this Rocksteady. She said, I'm too busy, you go. And I said, I don't know anything about Parkinson's. And she said, that's why you have to go. And that's how it started. I went, and within a month of going, we had our program going.
That is beautiful. All right, Pat VanBeveren, Executive Director of the Empower Parkinson's. Rocksteady Boxing is the cause that they are trying to get folks. They got a new gym that they just acquired a couple of weeks ago, 1029 Montgomery Street. Listen, how can people sign up? How do we get those 5 people there for you?
315-729-7178. Call that phone number. That's my cell number. I'll talk to them. And as soon as we can get 5 people, we'll open the doors and go to work.
315-729-7178. 315-729-7178. One more time. Now that you found your pencil, writing utensils, or put your phone to the radio and just copy what I'm getting ready to say. Here we go. 315-729-7178. Holla at Pat VanBeveren and let him know that you are interested and you know somebody who could benefit from the Rocksteady Boxing program and help get that dopamine flowing once more again. Thank you, Pat, and thank you for the work. And wow, to go from, hey, this is an interesting story, to bringing this program to Syracuse. Bravo to you.
I'm honored to do it. Thanks for having us on, George.
Inspiration for the nation.